Today on Pirates in the Desert, we've got Vampire Coast returning to Crabs versus Wulfric the Wanderer. That's right, it's a bit of veteran Vikings versus zombie pirates. So let's take a look here at this wild build from Berserk. Wulfric up front, we've got some Marauders, rank, what is that, 4 to 5? Ice Horns all the way up to rank 9, of course, being Regiment of Renown, Ice Wolves mixed with Poison Warhounds, and Ice Wolf Chariots there on that flank as well. We've got a Chaos Frost Dragon, Fire Famir, and speaking of Famir, way out in the corner there, we've got the Mist Stalkers, Regiment of Renown, Famir. As for the Vampire Coast, 3 Bat Bombers, Deck Droppers with bombs, some deckhands up front, like 4 dual hand weapons, couple halberds, mixed in with some handguns, a nice pike and shot formation, Rotting Prometheans, 3 of them, including Lamprey's Revenge, of course all equipped with shotguns, and a Vampire Admiral of Vampires. He's just got Invocation of the Heck and a Wand of Jet for that recharge. So we'll see how they get rolling here, but the Veteran Marauders, definitely an interesting one. Got a decent missile block chance. Marauders, Chevron okay, you know. I will say Norsca Marauder Chevron slightly worse, arguably, than their base Wares of Chaos counterpart, because they do pay a little bit of extra tax for that Enrage passive. Rage even passive, which means that they don't get quite the same true cost efficiency as the other ones who are cheaper but don't have that ability. But anyway, here we're going to see a really nice burning head coming in from Berserk. Rips through some handguns, and the other zombies manage to mostly dodge. Meanwhile, bombers fighting back, dropping some bombs all over those Marauders. Shields, of course, won't help against the explosive damage over here as well. A little hit and run by the chariots. Leads to some damage on the handguns, does force them into crumbling, but plenty of damage on Norsca in return. Yeah, even the Poison Warhounds up to rank 9. Truly a build of legends here, with the one Berserker in the center having no XP chevrons. He's been freshly recruited into this veteran tier 1 stack. But yeah, we're going to get in close. Watch the Ice Wolves, Warhounds, as they try and close the door on those handguns, but an adept block here. Yeah, Rotting Prometheans managed to get in there, block very well, and force that charge away. Likewise, Berserkers here getting countercharged by the Crabs. They can't get a clean charge into the zombie polearms. Codex doing a really nice job protecting even his low-tier units here to a degree, but otherwise, the Norskins are getting through in certain instances. I mean, no surprises with the speed disparity between these two armies. A lot of mobile units for Norsca and managing to find the gaps, taking damage in the process, but oh, another brutal burning head here. Going to cut down multiple units of handguns, probably force them into crumbling here. The Wolves and Hounds outrun that for the most part, but the bombs have been able to drop the majority of their ammunition already. And the Miststalkers in here fighting on some zombie halberds isn't the most efficient, but ooh, nice floor boats there. Sea Fang coming in, cutting down more handguns. So for the Vampire Coast, they've taken a lot of damage, trying to stabilize some of these handguns over here, maybe get a little healing on them perhaps, but probably not long for this world. Yeah, the summons starting to run out of steam a little bit. The Marauders got pretty well savaged despite their extra leadership and stats. They can't deal too much with that AoE damage, but yeah, the Chaos Chariot's also moving in. The Mirror moving out, not trying to stand and fight those halberds for too long. Took quite a bit of damage in that engagement, and so far have not even come close to paying for themselves, so a little bit painful there. Zombie halberds showing their absolute cost efficiency. And we shall see how this goes. We've got Poison Warhounds, Ice Hounds. Yeah, they're able to come in here and disintegrate multiple units there. Another burning head as the Famir gets involved in melee a little bit there. The one thing you got to consider is the Crabs, right? We know plenty from previous videos that the Crabs are one of the most dangerous units and certainly something to be respected. From the Norsca's perspective, they really need the armor piercing of this Chaos Frost Dragon, and like right here, if you could get it across the field and collapse with like all these other mobile units, or just generally with support, try and come in here and hound these, pun intended, these units and use that AP to kind of get some rear charges in particular. That charge defense of the Prometheans is definitely something to consider. Ooh, a little breath attack there does some armor-piercing damage at range. But there's still some pistols and some handguns applying a little bit of range pressure as well to the Frostworm, previously known as Frostworm, artist known as. Another Sunfang here, trying to cut through those halberds. Does some really good damage to the bunched up zombies. And the Frost Dragon, despite taking some damage at range, has dropped down now and is when it can feast on some value. Yeah, definitely getting some really nice value. Charging the back of those crabs actually forces this unit of Rotting Prometheans into instability. They begin crumbling. And meanwhile, the Ice Wolf Chariots and Ice Wolves in general having a hard time contesting against Lamprey's Revenge. This Hammer and Anvil so far. We've got the Miststalkers as well, kind of acting as an anvil. Only be able to hold out for so long against the zombie halberds in particular, but even against like Lamprey's Revenge, I don't know. Let's have a think about this. Lamprey's Revenge do have more unit models. They have more weapon strength. Less weapon strength, actually. I don't know. Miststalkers might be able to take that. A nice breath attack lands. Going to do some good armor-piercing damage. And, yeah, the armor being sundered, of course, by the Miststalkers. Anti-infantry, unfortunately, not helping in this instance, but they do have 47 melee defense. It's 59 of the Lamprey's Revenge. Both of these monstrous infantry actually more defensively profiled. But gonna have to use that charge bonus to good effect there. Ice Wolves, Ice Dragon. Come in here and apply that freezing cold to the behind, and it looks like the mere Miststalkers routed. Ice Wolves are also routing. They did force Lamprey's Revenge into crumbling, as are these other Rotting Prometheans, so it'll take some time for them to be gone from the field, but the Lamprey's Revenge, of course, have the passive healing and regeneration, so they will take a bit longer. Oh, we got the Famir over here. Looks like we'll be launching a fireball at a distance. He's trying to stay out of range of those handguns as they attempt to finish him off. Wolfric used all of his AoE damage. Doesn't have any more procs of Laura Boats right now, being surrounded and shot by the Lamprey's Revenge here. Yep, there's a fireball. Come in, maybe kill a unit model or two. Let's see. Detonates a few zombies, doesn't actually kill a unit model, and summoned pistols coming up as well. That is going to lead Wolfric pretty much to rout. The pistols also managed to get a bead on and break. Looks like the Ice Wolves here, most likely. The Ice Dragon trying to get away. Another Burning Head finishes off this handgun, more or less, but of course crumbling. It will still take probably a minute to die or so. Just such a strong mechanic, and certainly one that Codex is benefiting from greatly right now. Wolfric does get routed in the circle beating of the crabs, and it won't be any seafood tonight for him. Berserk will throw in the towel there, and that's going to be a victory for Codex. Yeah, fun one for sure. Definitely enjoy a good time with these crabs. Rotting Prometheans, excellent value. The rest of the army, relatively well limited. I mean, yeah, the zombie bomber bats do a decent job. A couple of the handguns pay for themselves. Decently cheap, so not too much of a risk. One polearm also gets some nice value. As mentioned, it's a unit that can really trade above their cost when applied to the right targets. Mere Balefiend roasting out 187 zombies, still only worth like 1,200 value. That's pretty crazy. 20,000 damage dealt. Definitely have to clear through the chaff, so tactically quite useful. Wolfric, likewise, 25,000 damage dealt. For longest time, he's been a great melee lord. Great melee lord, mainly because he has a great AoE, right? So it means he doesn't have to just run around and try and kill a million models with his regular attacks. The rest of the build here, though, I mean, a lot of veterancy, a lot of cost invested on some different things, and yet Chaos Frost Dragon's one of the more successful tools. Kind of crazy to me here, honestly, that that would be the case, but it makes sense to a degree. And, you know, in hindsight for Berserk here, I might change up the composition a little bit to maybe include, like, a second Chaos Frost Dragon, plus a bunch of mobility, like try and run in, disrupt, have a little bit of extra armor piercing to contest against those high-end units, especially later in the game. But yeah, definitely a fun one for sure. So hopefully you enjoyed. I know I sure enjoyed casting it. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been my absolute pleasure. Be sure to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thanks again. See you next time.